and welcome. You're watching Happiest Health. Joining us today is Dr. Shweta Khandelwal. She's a senior advisor at Jebego, India. She joins us at the Edge of Nutrition Summit, the Delhi edition. Welcome, Dr. Shweta. Thank you so much for joining us. In today's age of social media, in the digital age, there's so much information about nutrition. But people with that information are making quick choices. They are trying to change their diet, sleep pattern, exercise regime, etc. very quickly. But what do parents need to focus on when it comes to children's nutrition? Because that has an impact on your overall health for the rest of the year.
I think that's a very important question, Revati. We are living in a world which is right now, conflicted in terms of time availability, in terms of good choices availability, and in terms of knowledge lack or excess of knowledge sometimes also. So I think in terms of the decisions for parents, there are three things I would like people generally to focus on. One is the science. Like, it is important to make sure that the parents choose correct information. And when you will say how will everybody know what is the correct information? So go to a verifiable evidence-based source for getting correct information, or seek an expert's advice. That's my first thing about science. The second thing about solidarity and sustainability. So it's important for the parents to realize that their children are going to be a part of this planet. So have ways by which sustainable health is ensured or transmitted. So short-term decisions, quick fixes, today I'll give sugar, tomorrow I'll not give sugar, those are not the options that you should make. You should take a holistic, informed based approach and something which is good for the child overall in terms of health. And in this point, I also would like to say that many times parents get confused with this. Today it's like low carbs, today it's like low fat. These kind of things are fads, remember. Ultimately, it's a balanced diet. And again, this information is available on government websites, which you should follow. And the third is, which I was telling you about, is solutions. So don't focus so much on stress of bringing up children. Everybody has brought up their children in a good way, in the best way possible. So reducing the stress and giving quality time to your child to be able to nurture that bond, not just give food and all, but also nurture this bond by a holistic experience for the child is much more important.
All right. You did mention about taking information from authentic sources like the government websites, but that is a small part of the information that we're receiving. There's so much influencer information or videos that we see on social media that people are scrolling, doom scrolling for that matter. What are the dangers of this?
So this is a very important point, and if you remember, Revati, this also happened during the time of COVID, where misinformation was a bigger problem than getting access to correct information. So it's very important to tread this fine line of balance between correct evidence-based knowledge and going into fads. But I will tell you that there are ways by which you can navigate this. So correct information, for example, is usually backed by evidence-based papers or research, or like I said, some websites. Even if the influencers are or anybody else is putting out information, go to the original source. So if I say, for example, right now, vitamin C is good for you, don't just take my word for it. See how, probe people, like ask the experts, why is vitamin C good, for example, and which is the paper that you're citing, or where are you asking this from? And also there is some amount of credibility each person carries in this space. So understand those nuances. It's not that you jump into this and just make a decision of whatever comes on the top of the Google, but try and make an informed decision. It requires practice, but take your time, because this is ultimately your health.
Okay. One quick change that we see people make is when they listen to advice on social media, there's a change in their traditional diet. For example, you've been eating rice or roti or chapati all your life, and suddenly someone's telling you that's high carb. Suddenly you cut that out of your plate. What is the effect or impact of that overall health?
Again, this is a part of the fads that we were talking about, right? So that you hear something from the internet or from papers telling you, or media, that fat is bad or carbs are bad, and so cut it out. I don't think that's the right approach. Please exercise judgment when you read statements like this, because the things which you have been having traditionally have an overall impact on your gut microbiome, on your overall health. And so it's important to not give shocks to your body by drastically changing things, right? Even if you were consuming fat in a disproportionately larger amount, it's not that tomorrow you should go fat-free. It's not, the body will not respond to that positively. So go slow and steady, reduce by gradual amounts, and eventually try to get that out of your system if it was a negative habit. However, again, at this point, I would like to say that just saying low carbs, I do not endorse. I've studied nutrition for almost 25 years now, but I do not think that that's the correct way of approaching it. Low carb or any of that matter. Please exercise judgment, and for a holistic, good life, all the macronutrients and micronutrients are essential. A good balance and mix of these is what you should be, telling from your platform. It's not any one component that should be cut out or should be completely removed. That's not how it is.
Okay. Dr. Shweta, you also specialize in nutrition for non-communicable diseases, people with non-communicable diseases, and diabetes is one of the biggest problems that the country is facing health-wise. Now, when it comes to consumption of fruits, there is this idea that it is natural sugar, so it's okay to have and not have the sweets that are made. Is that a myth or is there fact in that?
See, when you're talking about fruits, Revati, fruits do not have sugar as the only component. They have a lot of good micronutrients other than sugar also. So there is fiber, there is minerals, iron, zinc, magnesium, so many of those good things that we find in fruits. So fruits definitely are a very, very important and healthy component of your diet and should remain so. In fact, the ICMR-NIN of our own country, the national body, advises that about 400 to 500 grams of fresh fruits and vegetables should be consumed each day. So it's almost half your plate, right? So that's very important. Having fruits is a better way because of the fiber and the other minerals. However, when you're talking about sugar alone, sugar doesn't have any other thing combined with it, right? Sugar is sugar, it's giving you calories. And so to reduce that white sugar or that, that synthetic thing is better, and going to fruits, which is a more natural way, is much better.
Okay, but fruits these days seem extra sweet, very sweet compared to...
So that is about adulteration. For example, there are some injections people put or things like those. So we have a body called FSSAI which is checking this from the government side, and that's a different aspect. But natural fruits are the way to go. Like, they should be a part of your healthy diet,
but not in excess like any other component.
They have of course, everything is important. Only having fruits will not give you enough calories to digest that also. So it's important.
All right. We started off talking about what parents should keep in mind when they plan their diet and nutrition for their children. Are there quick practical tips that you can give for parents, for their children as well as for themselves in this fast-paced environment?
So there's a rule which I often follow, which is called the 9-to-1 rule, and it's helped me quite a lot personally, and I think it will be useful for the audience as well. 9 for me means 9,000 steps. That means some amount of physical activity every day in your life, and 9,000 is just a way to put a number so that what gets measured gets done. 8 for me is 8 hours of sleep. So it's very important to have good sleep. 7 for me means 7 glasses of water. It can be 7 to 8, but basically giving the importance of hydration. Do not forget to hydrate yourself. So we usually roughly stay awake for 8 working hours, and for every hour have a glass of water. That's the kind of rule you should follow. 6 for me means 6 minutes of meditation. Meditation means time for you to introspect, to enjoy, to just before going to bed maybe, or you get up early in the morning, or whenever you have your eureka moments. 6 minutes of that calm and quiet time to yourself. 5 means 5 fruits and vegetables, like we talked about. It's very important to have fruits and vegetables, healthy green leafy vegetables. Vegetables just doesn't mean potato, so 5 fruits and vegetables. 4 means 4 rest breaks. Again, every 2 hours of your 8 hours working schedule or school life of children, it's important to have that 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever you can afford, a break from the continuous screen time, for example, that you're having, or anything that you're intently doing. Have that break for resetting and orienting yourself. 3 means, as nutritionists, we always say 3 big meals and 3 small meals throughout the day. Many times now people are saying about different fads of just going fasting and this and that. I think overall, for a healthy lifestyle, 3 main meals which were made, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 3 small snacks of this is very important to keep your digestion overall smooth. It can change from person to person, but generally, and this is a general advice, 2 means 2 hours before you go to bed, you should not have screen time, so that your body is completely in a relaxed state. You get good night sleep, the sleep which we were mentioning of 8 hours. It's important the screen time in your day is sort of limited. And last is one. One means one physical activity of your choice, whether it's gardening, swimming, doing anything which you enjoy, which has some amount of motion. It's not those steps which we spoke about, but something which overall gives a nourishment to your body. So that is my 9-to-1 rule for everybody out there.
All right, that's such a simple rule that I think I can remember and anybody can remember in their day-to-day life and even follow. I'm definitely not going to forget that. Thank you so much, Dr. Shweta, for speaking to us and giving that informative session here at Happiest Health.